A very good evening, Zimbabwe. You are listening to Studio 7 from the Voice of America on Tuesday, February 3rd, 2015. And this is Live Talk. I'm Blessing Zulu.
And I'm Kip Stube.
And tonight on Live Talk, we are going to talk about the flooding crisis.
To join the discussion, phone us directly at this number, 001-202-619-2077, and we'll call you back.
And as usual, Live Talk goes out to Zimbabwe on our 919 medium wave frequency and on the 4930, 5940 and 15455 kilohertz shortwave, Monday through Friday at 8:30 p.m.
And on the internet, you can find us at www.voazimbabwe.com, www.voashona.com, and www.voindebele.com.
From the onset of the flooding situation, we've been looking at issues to do with shelter provision, where we are providing tarpaulins to affected families for temporary shelter.
Yes, hatisi kugara nezvipfuwo nokuti hakuna zvemvura yekumwa, hakuna zveufuro hweng'ombe. Tiri kutogara nenhingiri kuzvibhorani ndokotokwera. Iyo zvokamuka makuseni. Unozoka kuchibhorani kwachina pamwe na 2 o'clock kana 3 o'clock. Vana kazhinji vanokwera nezhara nyaya kushawa mvura. Midumbu vana vanenge vachiwa midumbu nokuti mvura iya vana vachijaira inenge ichivava. Kuminya kwachina inenge ichitori problem.
Thina ngapha echoloto asikazuzi lutho okuthiwa into yokuthwala uncedo nxa abemthokomkhosi bekhala kusho ukuthi lathi sikhala lawo akula lutho esike salizuza. Abangabe bebuya bangabuya badlule abakahulumende bafike bazenze ngazane kukhona okubuyayo kumbe bafike bathi hayi sesilibonile udubo. Yikho-ke okuqalisa nxa thina sesingena labafuna ukuthi basincedise sokuluhlupho njalo ngoba kumele siqale siyolotsha emahofisini abo-DA.
Once again, thanks for joining us, and you are listening to Studio 7 Live Talk. And tonight on Live Talk, we are going to talk about the flooding crisis.
Continued rains around Zimbabwe have triggered emergencies, with lives being claimed in the process and infrastructure destroyed. Arrests from the Zimbabwe Red Cross Society provincial structures highlight varying rain-induced emergencies, with affected areas in dire need of humanitarian intervention.
Flooding is expected to worsen in the Zambezi Basin following heavy floods in neighboring Mozambique, where 159 lives have been lost. The question today is, are these floods natural or man-made disasters?
What are your views on this issue? If you wish to join the show right now, phone us directly at this number, 001-202-619-2077, and we'll call you back. That number again, 001-202-619-2077. You can also send us a message on WhatsApp. Our number is 1-202-465-0318. Yeah, kunjalo for it.
Onguka Gibbs nasi tinoda kuti tinge tichitarisa nezve nyaya yemafashamu emvura. Tirikunzwa kuti muHarare hamusi kuita. Vanhu vava kutoda ngarava chaidzo kuti vange vachifamba nemabhoti, nekuti migwagwa yese yakazara mvura, miti yakadonha, tambo dzemagetsi dziri kunzi dzakadimburwawo pamwe netambo dzemafoni nenyaya yekuti mvura yawandisa. Uye kune vamwe vanhu vakapedza maawa nemaawa vari mudzimotikari mushure mekunge vatadza kufamba nekuti mvura yanga yawandisa. Uye nenyaya yekuti kuMozambique kune mafashamu akanyanyisa, kunonzi kwafa vanhu vanodarika iwo 150 nemapfumbamo. Zvakuchirwa kuti mvura iyoyo kubva kuMozambique inogona kuenda kunzvimbo dziri kuZambezi Valley, zvoita kuti vanhu vari kunzvimbo idzodzo vange vachizobviswa ikoko. Nekudaro nyaya yemvura iyi inenge iri nyaya isina kumira zvakanaka. Gibbs.
Kunjalo Blessing. Sizwile sibili kuti kulezulu lesikhukhula elimangalisayo lichaya Harare. Liselichayile kulapho ke abantu abanengi bagcwalelwa ke imifula nje emncane lapha ekhona, njalo lokho kuthiwa ama-drainage kwasokubloka. So kwenza ukuthi ugcina kulamanzi amangalisayo eHarare. So sizwa kuthiwa ke izimoto ezinye abantu bahlale phakathi kwesikhathi eside bemele ukuthi amanzi lana aze yentshe. Kodwa akusahamba kanjalo ngoba kanye abaningi sibalimazele impahla eningi kakhulu. Izimoto lazo phakathi kuthiwa bezigcwele amanzi, uhamba lapho hamba khona kuphela kuthiwa kade kusesabeka. Sizwile njalo lokuthi kulezulu elimangalisayo eline khona ngale Mozambique, and elinile khona ngale libulela abantu sibili okuzwayo. Kube susithi labantu abakuzambezi Basin Kompana ngazani bachaye sibili lizulu lesikhukhula so ke sifuna ukuzwa ke ukuthi uZulu uthini Blessing ngodaba lolu siyakhumbula sakuxoxa udaba lolu sikhuluma ngesikhukhula sabakhona kodwa ke sokuphindile njalo emhlolweni so ke Zulu kandaba kambe lithini ngodaba lolu nxa lifuna ukuthi likhulume lathi khona lapha lo Blessing lisifoneleni nasi nombolo 001 202 619 2077 ngizayiphinda le nombolo ngokuthi lifone kanye salifona khona ngapho 001 202 619 2077 ye khulumani sizwe Zulu kandaba.
Of course, the problem of flooding is also accompanied by lightning. And of course, the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation is reporting a very sad incident where 7 people were yesterday struck and killed by a bolt of lightning at Mugwinyi village in Chief Mazungunye area in Bikita. And what is very sad there, Gibbs, is that the eldest one was actually 32, and the rest you have children aged 11, 5, 4, 5, 6, and 4. A very sad story indeed. I mean, even the eldest person there at 32, those are lives that have been cut short. It's very sad and tragic indeed.
Yeah, Joe Blessing. Bakhona abantu abachawe ke ngumbani khona ngapho ke eZimbabwe kubikwa ukuthi abanye bangikhona nje balaminyaka e11 bose kubuya ke abanye 5 abanye 6. Ye nxa sikhuluma ke esintwini kuthiwa ke inkosazana bathethwe inkosazana siyethemba ukuthi basezandleni zikaThixo. Ye so ke hayi imbani yacha sibili kodwa ke ukuhluphayo ukuthi ungaze ucatshe ngaphansi kwesihlahla kumbe endlini kungani uyafana nje so kubuya kube buhlungu ukuthi uyangena ngapho mfowethu.
Ongu kutaura kurita Gibbs hapo nyaya yemafasha memvura iyoyi inowanzouyawo nenyaya yemheni kuri kunzi kune mhuri kubikita uko mhuri tingati mbiri dzakarwa idzo nemheni pakafaipo vanhu vanomwe mukuru anga ine makore 32 vamwe vese vanga vaine makore 11 kusvika 4 nekudaro inyaya inosuvisa zvikuru yakaitika iyoyi iri kukonzerwawo nenyaya yemvura iyoyi iri kuramba ichinaya. Gibbs.
Yes, siyadinga lapha lokho sizama ukufonela uMrs Roslyn Siphepha Nkomo siyamzama kade sizokuthiwa useHarare simzama ke besifuna ukuthi angene kuhlelo sixoxene ngodaba lolu sifuthi njalo sizama umnumzana uReverend kumbe ngithi uReverend uSelisibanda siyabazama sibe lo mnumzana kuPeter Moyo lapha likhona khona ngapho sicela lifaka amafoni lapha angena khona ukuze ukuthi sixoxene ke ngodaba lolu siyazama njalo lo maker uJesse Majome usimthole ukayazani amafoni ayabheja namhlanje Blessing kodwa siyazama sibili ngemzamo yonke esingakwenza siyabona lo producer sibili la uyazama ukuthi adinge laba bantu ukuthi sebenze ye ungathini ke Blessing asiqhubhe baba.
Timbo abapwere Honorable Majome.
Yes.
Yeah, how are you?
Hello. Fine, thanks. How are you?
Yes, Honorable Majome, we spoke a few hours ago, and you were saying that you were going to tour some of the most affected areas in your constituency. Of course, you represent Harare West. It has been hard hit by the rains that pounded Harare beginning Sunday. Tell us, how is the situation like?
It's a very sad and it's a really depressing situation that I found in Lenana Park, which I want to believe is one of the worst, possibly the worst affected area in Harare West and in Harare. I say this because Lenana Park has always, I got to know that it has had problems of poor drainage because it's a suburb that was developed by a private developer, but who didn't complete the development. His company didn't complete laying out the drainage pipes and the sewers. So even when there's generally, rain that's normal and light, they experience a problem of flooding. And so I got curious because I got worried about them when these floods came. And I went there today and I'm very unsaddened by what I saw. I saw It's a whole suburb with many, many houses, and I was told that one of the roads that goes on was literally a river. This was worsened by there's a dam that was built by one of the plot owners in the area. They dammed up a little dam as a resort for venues for weddings and so on, and the residents believe that that dam is illegal, but I am yet to verify that. So this dam actually also overflowed and it burst. And I went to this house. I'm just so sad. And this woman has a home. She didn't know that there was a dam right about maybe 10 meters away from 12, 15, 10 meters away from her home. And, when the dam burst, it just flowed into her house because she's got a little makeshift cottage that she has while she's building. The water just flowed in, and she says it went up to about 50 centimeters, about 50 centimeters high. She says she didn't know that refrigerators and TV sets can float, and that, it's really sad. And she's actually sleeping in her car right now because she has nowhere to go. Imagine, I saw carpets out, beds are soaked, and so on. And even another one, there are people, the electricity was affected, and like sofas soaked through beds. And I saw two women who are she's living in her car. Then there's another one who's actually living with next door neighbors because she was thoroughly flooded. I went into the homes, and even documents, it said, one of them showed me even important documents like certificates and security documents. They were all like flooded. It's really very sad. And I'm actually even appealing for furniture on their behalf, that if there are people who have, like in Harare, who have beds or sofas that they want to throw away, that they can just have somewhere to sit maybe in the meantime. But while I also sort it out with the council authorities to see what can be done about this dam, and to also see what can be done to make sure that this errant developer completes the work, or the city council steps in one of the ways, because it's going to be a continuing problem.
I think we have a second guest blessing, and that is Mrs. Roslyn Sipepankomo. She is the Cholocho lawmaker. Mrs. Sipepankomo, good evening. I think our producer is saying we have actually lost her. So I think we can go back to lawmaker Machome. Now tell us, what can people do under these circumstances when it comes to property being destroyed? Is there any way that they can be compensated by somebody?
I want to believe that if the flooding is caused by human negligence, that is human or corporate negligence, definitely they can sue. Because in this particular case, the Lenana Park residents, the developer is definitely to blame, possibly with the council, but even with the owner of the dam. But there are also even areas, I'm really horrified because I didn't know this problem even extends to others. Because all I knew that Ashton Park, Bloomingdale, parts of Maybelline and Sandridge were affected. But I discovered, and Good Hope as well. But even Bluffhill, somebody sent me, on Facebook, a picture of their car with water beyond above the wheels. It's really, so issues like that. I'm advising Harare Westerners to compile, to just assess the amount of damage that this has caused for possible civil suit, because this is definitely not right. But while I'm also there, I want to also just appeal to, I suppose, Harare residents and maybe others to manage our litter and our waste properly, because I suspect that this problem may actually also be worsened by clogging drains because of the high amounts of garbage that we now generate, like plastics and K-lights that are not biodegradable and that are not being carried also even by council. So I think we need to, there's something that we can do, but there's something that maybe council also needs to do, and also various other stakeholders. I'm just grateful that no children drowned or other people drowned, because this is quite dangerous, and that people should just beware, because I'm told that the storms are not yet gone. But so I think we must be vigilant and pay attention to children and the elderly and the sick, but also have contingent plans and try and, if we can, while bigger solutions are found. But I'm actually hoping that we can do. I want to see an investigation.
I think your phone is cutting off MP Majome, I think we've got a slight problem with your phone.
Oh, okay.
Now
I think
okay,
that I want an inquiry to be conducted to understand exactly why Harare is flooding like this, why homes are flooding, because it's a capital city, and in a country that offers degrees at the University of Zimbabwe in rural and urban planning, this kind of thing should not happen. Why is this happening? Are we building? Is this because there's been an onslaught on wetlands? And is this nature having its revenge and coming back the water that whose courses we've obstructed? Is it revenging on us? And
Thank you. Yeah,
who is doing that? And is it litter? What is it? Who's causing? What is the cause of this? We need to get to the bottom of it and to get solutions and to get accountability for who's responsible for this kind of thing.
Thank you very much, and I think we've got Mrs. Roslyn Ispepankomo. Mrs. Pepankomo, good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to the program. Yeah, I was telling ukuthi eHarare sizwile ukuthi kulesikhukhula esimangalisayo esezulu. Kume njani nxa sikhuluma ke ngendaweni zeMatabele North and kwezinye indawo? Kume njani?
Matabele North endaweni yeCholocho yikho lapho okulimele khona. eCholocho endaweni eziphuma kubo butabubili obasasezo uTachawa eNtulule la ngapha eceleni koma Chief Matupula yikho lapho okube lemonakalo. Eminye imonakalo ilethwa unkosazana ichayile sibili kwezinye indawo. Ichayizi imbane izindlu zithunga iziba lapho ekugcinela umumbu khona lakho kuchile ekhaleni inyamazana lazo zichila amadonki inkomo lezimbuzi imizi iblikile hayi into yakhona ibuhlungu kakhulu. Kodwa into ehlala khona iminyaka leminyaka angazi ukuthi kuzaze kulunge nini, kuzaze kubonakala isolution nini. Ngeke ngakhuluma komunye ukuthi no even le awareness sazozibona abantu kungena bona labe abenhlanganiso lekhangela khonoko kwama floods abe protection unit akungenwa kufundiswa abantu ukuthi nxa sokunje kumbe bazaze kufundiswa abantu nxa sokulomonakala abantu sebedrown babanengi yikho okuzaba awareness at least nxa sikwazi thina ama MPs la lezinduna ama headmen omlisa la amanye ama stakeholders labantu khonapho emakhaya bakwazi ukuthi hayi thina safundiswa kodwa lokhu ngabala lokhu I think imfundiso yenkulu kakhulu leni lakho kwathengiswa ukuthi uza kwakhiza indlu kuza kwenziwa lokhu kuza kwenza akulalo uthola yenzakala abantu bakamlimi bazidubekela nje khonapha awungathiwa nje uyisamende okubili umuntu ekhaya nxa esekhaya uzaqedisa ngani.
Yes, awuzwa kakhulu
indlu imeli ibe lento ezinengi iphele ithi du.
Yes, yaphenduka kuwe ke ngamafutshane mama. Yeah, kusukuqume kancane bijana siyabuya futhi. So she was saying that there are some areas in Cholocho that have been affected too by these floods, and it includes places like Butabuvili, Chachawa, and others. And she says there was a lot of lightning, as well, and this lightning actually struck granaries, goats, donkeys, and all that kind of livestock. And she says the Civil Protection Unit has a job to do because they are supposed to teach people what to do when such things happen. So she says nothing is happening of that kind of nature.
We have our first caller, Nicodemus in Botswana. Nicodemus, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Your take on this issue of flooding?
Yes, well, I believe for a long time when you look at the dynamics in Zimbabwe, when from the fall of economy, that is in the 2008 and so forth, some of these things have really been forgotten. Like Civil Protection Unit, you find that people were now caring more about food and other issues, and some of those things were really not of paramount of importance in Zimbabwe. So really, those are some of the things that you find that, talking of Harare, you find that Harare has a certain capacity that it should have a certain number of people living in that community. But now, if you were to go back and look at the figures, you find that there are now too many people. So are we still following the same standards of when we're building and so forth, or some corners are being cut? I believe there's a lot that needs to be done from local government and so forth. A lot of stakeholders have to come in and bring in some input to see that things are really being done the professional way since Harare is a city.
But how is Botswana like? Do you have these problems? Are the drainage is working properly?
No, in Botswana, well, I would say that fairly it's a small population, and when you look at some of these issues, you find that it's limited in terms of flooding and so forth. Because generally, what will happen is that the civil protection unit of this country, they will let people know through SMSs, and sometimes we have systems which are called court systems. These village court systems where people meet. People are really told at grassroots levels that on such and such a day, maybe we're expecting that there may be a flood or there may be something like this. So you find that people are more prepared.
Nicodemus, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Gibbs.
That sounds good. You know, if people,
kuBotswana vanogara vaudzwa kuti pane zvakadai zviri kuitika, achitiwo kune vanhu vashoma nekudaro nyaya yema drain anenge asiri kushanda akanaka zviri nani pane Harare vanhu vanenge vawandisa sekutaura kwangu chimboita honorable Majome, vanhu vanorasira mapepa pese pese nekudaro madrain aya anenge asasashande zvakanaka, mvura inopedzisira yakudzokera mugwagwa kakulu.
Yes, mzule lapho mnumzana wathi khuluma lo Blessing asithi kule Botswana ngale abantu bayatshelwa kumbe batshelwa nguchief kumbe batshelwa nguheadman usabhuku kuphela ukuthi sicabanga ukuthi ngelanga elinje kuyabuya izulu elinje abantu basebebona icebo ukuthi bengenzani, kodwa mbonazana eZimbabwe akwakenzakali kangako lokho. Sizeza ukuthi umama uSiphepha uyasitshelani lapha ke icingweni selo mnumzana ke uNtuthuko eCholocho litshona njani khona ngapho?
Yebo, litshona njani?
Intshonile kakhulu. Ngubani nguNtuthuko kumbe nguThuthuka?
Ngiyeka uNtuthuko.
Yebo, Ntuthuko phela bese ngisizwe ngani umalumama uThuthuka
umalumama kuThuthuka.
Yes, so unjani ba?
Asikhona linjani?
Siphilile kakhulu kunjani eCholocho lapha? Akusitshela ukuthi uhamba njani?
OkwakuCholocho likhanye nje lisina okwayizolo kwamalanga nalawa kusukela nje iweekend nale kusiza ilanga namhla. Likhanye lisiba khona ngezindawo ezitshiyeneyo.
Kodwa ke akula sikhukhula esimangalisayo esine lapho khona. Ungaphi khona?
Mina kathesi ngosiphepha.
Kuchaya njani ngosiphepha khona?
Limile izolo sibili khona lokho, kodwa akuzange kwaba umonakalo waba nje kuphela kuviki ephelileyo endaweni ngale ukuthi ku-Ward 4. Lapho kwaba le wind too much lawisa lathatha uphahla eSiphongweni Primary School, bazothuba bomnyole businessman okuthiwa nguChuma. Lasekuthatha uphahla la kwasekuthe primary edikutibo umntwana ograde 0 oyinkazana wasewela isihlahla wasesephuka unyawo.
So ke ngasikhuluma nge-civil protection unit yakibuye khonapho.
Okwenzakalayo ukuthi kubuye sibili ebantwini ukuthi chairperson ukuthi abantu beCholocho nxa sikhuluma nge-civil protection ukuthi hayi chairperson ukuthi abe khona le delegation hayi, kodwa i-organization orap yatrainer okuthiwa disaster risk reduction committees ngama-ward ukuthi they-selected ward lapho abatrainwa khona. So abantu bonabo abatrainwa yibo abakhangelayo ngangomumo lanxa kusiba lama-message abuya u-ekhonekte ukuthi abantu bengazeli abasegcekeni behlala ezindlini njalo. Lokho hayi siyakuthola kodwa yona i-civil protection ukuthi ama-ward nalawo ayiwo akhangeleleyo ukuthi beke behambe la bezifikela bebona ukuthi ku-ground kunjani hayi asilabe sibabone befika.
Awuboni-ke intuthuko khona ngapho-ke kosiphepha sibongile kakhulu baba.
Hayi lathi sibonile kodwa ikhanya ngani afuna ukubuya ngoba ngali bona libuya ungani livela khona ngapha eChurches sikhangela ukuthi hayi lingaba yilo lama-floods ngoba ya 2001 lana livelela kakhulu emangweni eChurches so khathesi liyaphazima liyaduma sazi ukuthi amalanga la kusaphela i-weekend ukuthi kuzabe kunjani.
Hayi siyakuzwa baba sinethemba ukuthi kalisoze lidilize kakhulu kasoze lenze khonokho ngani akuhambelani labantu. Yes, sibongile kakhulu intuthuko khona ngapho-ke baba.
Hayi sibongile la.
Yeah, thank you very much. So according to Mr. Ntutuko, you know, the rains haven't been causing so much of a problem in Spepa area, but in other areas in Cholocho, yes, there are problems. So he says they're not getting any education from the Civic Protection Unit, but at the end of the day, they get some alerts from Econet and others, you know. So they are much aware of what is happening in most cases. And he was saying he's spotting some clouds that are, you know, coming from a certain section of Cholocho, and he fears that maybe there could be some floods on the way, you know.
That's a problem. Of course, these are some of the tips for our listeners, to prevent disasters when there are floods. Of course, the first one being, if you come upon flood waters, stop, turn around and go another way, climb to higher ground. Stay away from flooded areas. Never try to walk, swim, drive, or play in flood water. If you are in a car and become surrounded by water, if you can get out safely, do so immediately and move to higher ground. Of course, they say vehicles can be swept away in 2 feet of water. Watch out for snakes in areas that were flooded. Stay away from creek and stream banks in flooded and recently flooded areas. Never play around high water, storm drains, ditches, ravines, or culverts. Throw away all food that has come into contact with flood waters. Gibbs zvirunzi kana chikafu chako chaendwa nemvura iyo yanga ichierera worasa uye vanhu havafaniri kuti kana vari kuona kuti nzizi yakazara woedza kubira kuswima kana kuti uchidhigidha mvura imomo kana kuda kupfuura nemotikari yako hazvikurudzirwi. Uye ukaona kuti rwizi rwazara zvinani kudzokera usadhiraivhe motikari yako kana kuchinge kwanaya mvura yakawandisa.
Uyifaka kuthi indawo lapho-ke blessing nxa ukuthi-ke abantu bebona umfula ugcwele njengokutsho kwakho akumelanga bezama ukuthi bechaphe ngoba uyathi kahle ngixoxoze mbona ukuthi kutshona kanganani ukuthi unyamalale khonapho. So-ke abantu baxwayisa ukuthi lingaqali ukungena emfulweni ogcweleyo otherwise liyaba lenkinga inkalakatha. Njalo lokuthi abantu bangadlaleli eduzane lama-drainage la phela ukwazi ukuthi kutshona kanganani ungavele usondele khompana ungenelisa ukuthi ugcine ubhubha. So-ke siyalicebisa kakhulu emadolobheni lingakwenzi khonokho. Kulabanye blessing ngiyakhumbula zakhula mina kwakuthi nxa umfula ugcwele lingabona selichapha ukhangela inkunzi bese ubamba umsela wenkunzi ube suchapha ngayo. Khathesi akusayenzakali kangako ngoba ku very dangerous nxa ukuthi vele ungakwazi kumbe vele ungasondela emfuleni yiko kutsho njalo nxa ugcwele umfula tshela lawo.
Regaiti dzoke kuna honorable Majome.
Yes.
Tichitarisa matambudziko ari kusangana nevanhu muri nhengo yeparamende mungabatsirana nawo sei? Pane vamwe vatambotaura nawo vari kugara uko vanga vachiti mvura yesiweji yapinda mudzimba dzavo.
Ndambotaura kuti ndinoda kuti ndakukurudzira paramende neinonzi motion kuti paitwe ongororo.
Honorable Majome, regai tidzoke kwamuri, rambai zvenyu makabata timbotoreka short break. Of course, for our radio listeners, we are streaming live, so go to www.voazimbabwe.com. This is Blessing Zulu.
And I'm Gibbs Dube saying stay tuned, Zimbabwe.
For those of you who are just joining us, good evening, and this is Studio 7 Live Talk. And tonight on Live Talk, we are talking about the flooding crisis in Zimbabwe. Some parts of Harare were affected by floods because there were heavy rains which pounded the capital city on Sunday. And of course, areas that have traditionally had problems with floods, like in Cholocho, Muzarabani, some parts of Manicaland, the problem of flooding persists. And of course, the Met Department has warned that in the next 48 hours, there will be heavy rains. So people, Gibbs, must always be on their toes. And of course, to our neighbors in the east, that is in Mozambique, there are also floods there. 159 people have died so far, and thousands have been displaced, Gibbs.
And of course, helping us to dissect this issue are two lawmakers, Mrs. Roslyn Spepankomo of Cholocho and Honorable Jesima Jome of Harare West. If you wish to join the show right now, phone us directly at this number, 001-202-619-2077, and we'll call you back. That number again, 001-202-619-2077. If you wish to send us a message on WhatsApp, here's the number, 001-202-465-0318. Ye katusakhuluma ke lo macho.
Honorable Majome, tangachitaura nyaya yekuti mungabatsiranewo sei nevanhu sezvo muri mudare reparamende, nekuti vanhu vakawanda vanenge vari kuti havasi kuona chiri kuitwa nehurumende chingabatsira.
Inini ndinoti chandiri kuda inini senhengo yeparamende da kuti tiise kuti dare reparamende riite ongororo yekunyatsonzwisisa kuti semuharare ndo mandinoziva mandinomirira kuti chii chiri kumboita kuti paitike mafashama muharare muguta guru rezimbabwe. Chii chiri kukonzeresa kutadza kuchera kuchenesa migero here yemastorms yekuti nekanzuro here, uye kana iri kutadza chii chiri kuitadzisa marara here ari kuraswa nevanhu, kana kuti kuvakwa here kuri kuitwa panzvimbo dzematoro dzisingafaniri kunge dzichivakwa kuri kuita kuti zviitike. Marara here atiri zvinyatsoongororwa, nokuti kana taongorora zvikonzero izvozvo tinobva tawana mushonga wacho kuti ngazvibva zvagadzirwa nenzira yakati. Saka inini ndinoti ndo zvandinoda kuti ndifambisewo muparamende ndichiongorora kuti chii chiri kukonzeresa. Asi uyezve toona kuti vanhu zviri kubata vanhu pakuita sei pacho, ende uye zvii zvingaitwe kuti zvigadziriswe. Ndo zvandinoona kuti mudare reparamende tinyatsobvunzurudze tione kuti zviri kukonzerwa nei, imhosva, pana ane mhosva here, kana iye ane mhosva wacho ogadziriswa yeye. Ndo zvingabetserwe nedare reparamende, uye kuti zvii zvingaitwe kuti vanhu vabetserekane necivil protection unit. Ndinovimba inini naHonorable Rose Pangoma tiri mukomiti yeparamende yezvemadhorobha nekuronga kwezvinhu nemagariro maruzevha inonzi yelocal government. Saka katomboti tinoda kuti tiite ongororo yekuona kuti izvi takazviita paita dambudziko riya remadhemu rekuchingwizi, tikaona kuti hurumende yanga isina kugadzirira zvecivil protection zvekuti pakaitika tsaona dzakakura kudai sedzakaita sedzemafashama dzinobatwa sei, taiona kunge vasina kunyatsorongeka. Taida kuti tiite ongororo tiende kana kuchingwizi kwacho tinoongorora, asi takazotadza nekuti pakaonekwa pasina mari. Asi tichine chinangwa ichocho chekunyatsoongorora kuti vecivil protection vanokwanisa here kunyatsoita basa rekuchengetedza vanhu kutsaona dzakadai matambudziko akadai makurukuru, uyezve vari kumboitei chaizvo, chii chavari kuita kuti vabetsere vanhu. Ndo zvatinoda kuti tiite separamende, kana kubvunza zvakare makurukota akasiyana siyana ane chekuita nezvezvemvura, nezvemadhorobha evava, nevanoita nezvekuongorora ugare hwevanhu. Zvese izvozvo kuti tione kuti vari kumboitei chaizvo, vanogona here kuronga nekuona kuti mberi kuzvi zvichaitika, uye kuti vafanodzivirire matambudziko asati aitwa. Sei zviri kungoti tiri kungoerekana tangokanika zvangoitika. Pane vari kuita here basa here muhurumende rekuona rekutarisa zviri kumberi uko tigadzirire tisasangane nematambudziko akadai. Ndo zvinobetsera paramende.
Aiwa, tinotenda zvikuru Honorable Majome Gibbs.
Now, I think these floods are coming at a time when Human Rights Watch Blessing actually launched a report that is titled Homeless, Landless and Destitute, the Plight of Zimbabwe's Tokwe Mkosi Victims. Now, in this report, Human Rights Watch is urging Zimbabwe to compensate displaced Tokwe Mkosi flood victims and is encouraging, actually, the African Union to press Harare to enforce full protection of the rights of the displaced in accordance with this legal obligation or under the AU Convention for the Protection and Assistance of Internally Displaced Persons. So I think under this report, they're actually saying, these people have become poor, they've been tossed from one area to the other, and they have nowhere to go, At the end of the day, they are suffering. So I want to pose a question to Mrs. Pepankomo. So, these flood victims in Cholocho and Tokwe Mkosi, they are still facing serious problems. So, at the end of the day, what is happening? The government is not doing a lot for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what should happen now?
Honestly, I would say the government is not doing anything, nothing at all. It doesn't matter how much you talk. All we should just say the government has failed and is failing. Look, you can't say something has happened and it takes months and months to go to the place or to give them assistance. What kind of government? And this should be the first reaction of the government to say, okay, this has happened. Let's have a plan to help, to assist, or to make sure, these are not animals, they're human beings. And then you say, okay, they'll just leave as it has happened, and you stay away, and they're not even bothered. I really don't understand. And like you are saying, they're displaced, they're just human rights. It's really, for people in Cholocho, they've just said, well, it's the order of the day, and they will live with it. The government is not assisting them. So, all we can say, the government has failed. But as a member of parliament, like Jesse Majo may say, both are in the local government committee, and we will try and push in the committees, and we'll try and put it in a motion in parliament, and then that can be tabled in parliament, discussed, and maybe something will come out. Because people don't even know what is happening. The whole nation doesn't know what is happening. We want people to know that the government is not doing anything. We're talking about Tokwe Mkosi, those people, they are really suffering. In Cholocho, they are really suffering. This has happened. It's years and years and years in Cholocho, and nothing is happening.
Thank you very much, and stay on the line. President.
We have Emmanuel on the line. Emmanuel, good evening.
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing great. Your thoughts on the issue of flooding, Emmanuel?
Yes, sir. The problem is this flooding, it's not only affecting people. It's only affecting also the infrastructure, the roads. It's causing accidents because after the floods, the government is not doing anything to revamp the road system. People are displaced. They are not even getting food. It's very, 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 very bad for the government to do that. Because the government must have some money put aside to deal with these disasters. Yeah, but now if you look at it, they just say in the news there's floods there's this, but not even food. People, they don't have food there. Yes, they don't have food there. After the floods, the roads are deteriorated, and it's not good. It's not working like that because the government must do something. Yes.
Yeah,
there must be something.
Yeah, Emmanuel, some people are saying also people are contributing to this problem, because if you throw away litter everywhere, the drains are clogged, and as a result, there is flooding.
Yes, I understand that, but as yes, litter it can also contribute, but mostly floods is the rain. Too much rain, which we receive. So the government must help poor people, at least give them shelter, food. People are displaced. People are just no shelter. Have you been at Tugenkosi? People, they don't have even food. They're displaced. The houses are broken. Nothing is being happened by the government. But who else is going to help us? Who else? We are looking forward to our government. The government has got money. The government has got diamonds. People are being chased there at the diamonds there. They are chasing poor people there. They are taking the money. They are doing it illegally. But after taking that money, why they can't use that money to help people for the floods? You see, the government is chasing people there. They are going there, people there trying to get those diamonds, but they're chasing them away. People are suffering. The government is doing it legally, but now look, there is no money to help for the people of the flood.
Emmanuel, thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mkoma Emmanuel vari kuti ibasa rehurumende kuti inge chibatsira vanhu kana paita matambudziko akadai asi hapana chine kumeso chavari kuona.
Utsho njalo ke umnumzana lapha wathi khuluma ke lo blessing uthi uhulumende kumele asebenze. Lathi siyabona ukuthi uhulumende kumele asebenze. Kodwa ke silemlayezelo futhi njalo nje ku Facebook we blessing. Ngizabala embili kuphela. Sile one from Mokwena Daniels who says it's sad for people to lose their lives in such a manner. The government needs to compensate those people for their losses, but I wonder if it will do that. Then we've got Moven Kalisa Ngwenya who just wrote, oh my God. Then we've got Gift Talent Victor who writes, this is still a small voice from God. He wants to help all of us. We should help each other.
Powerful words. Regai tiende kuna mwe mtereri wedu anga aripo acho kwa no rest namba yacho nenge isiri ita zvakanaka. Regai ti dzoke kwa muri honorable Majome Zakari tichitarisa kuti komiti yenyu ndo ine basa rekuona kuti zvinhu zvinenge zvafamba zvakanaka nekuti komiti yezve matunhu kana kuti yelocal government ndo inotarisa idzo nyaya dzemadisaster idzi dzana CPU. Muchavadaidza here weCPU kukomiti yenyu kuti muone kuti chii chiri kuitika nekuti patakambotaurawo navo vanga vachiti dambudziko riri kunetsa inyaya yekuti hurumende haina kuvapa mari. Honorable Majome? Panenge paita dambudziko.
What is zameke nkosikazi Sipepa Nkomo ukhona ecingweni mama? Ungazani ukhona mama?
Ngikhona ba.
Yes, siyakuzwa kakhulu. Nxa sesikhangela ke udaba lolu olabantu abangani bahlutshwa ngamanzi wona la esikhukhula. Ubona ngazani ke ukuthi abantu behlale phansi bekulungise nxa sokwenzakele kumbe kungakenzakali kumele kuhanjiswe njani khonapho?
Mina bengifisa ukuthi ngithi mina andisila ile yethu iCPU. Sibe labo ODA bethu abathu ngoskomisi. Abakhona ema-ofisini. Silama local leaders ama izinduna labo mvisa lama councillors. Abantu kabahlalisane phansi bakhulumisane. Sibonisana ukuthi kathi lokho okunto okuhlupha ngaphi kungaba njani. Kodwa ke engilandelelayo ikhona le isibu bakhona bakwenza uDA. Kodwa mina njengo MP abafuni ukukhuluma lami. Bayakhetha ukuthi ngo-MDC vele bayangikhetha okuzwisa ubuhlungu. Labantu bayabatshela ukuthi bangakhulumi lalo mama lo inyamazana le MDC. Kodwa kungaba kuyisebenza mina ngakhetha phela ngabantu. Bangikhetha bathi ngo-MP. Zonke izinto ezenzakalayo ejoloji kumele nami ngizibambe. Kodwa nxa sekufika lapho kule CPU phela iCPU ukuthi ngeke kahulumende. DA ngaba kahulumende. Ngabe ngasafuna ukungifaka mina eceleni ukuthi sisebenzelane. Ile sisebenze phela sibambisana into nansi into esikhona. Isisokulento yendese ehlakeleyo. Abantu bayakhalisana ndawonye babambisana. so kunzima ukusebenza labantu bakahulumende khonapho ku-area kuma-local. Anyway, thina besifisa ukuthi ku-local government committee lo munye wami u-honorable Majomi nxa singahlanganisa singatshela o-chairman bethu ukuthi sibize abe-CPU babuye sibakhulumisane labo. Siyasibize labo ojombo ema-committee ethu sikhulumisane labo. Sibize labo meya bemaharare sikhulumisane labo labo town clerk. Lapho asike sibizaneni labo tsholotsho diye nkora ngani sizababiza labo babuye sikhulumisane labo.
Hayi siyakuzwa kakhulu ye ubambe khona pho ngayikatshana mama. So what Mrs. Spepankomo was saying is that the tragedy is that the CPU doesn't invite MDCT MPs and senators to any meetings, They are being discriminated against, and she says this is not right. So at any given time, she says they may and may invite the CPU officials to appear before a parliamentary committee to talk about some of these issues and discuss floods, and all those kind of problems that are affecting people.
I think we have Reverend Hussein Sibanda, our third guest. Reverend Sibanda, good evening.
Good evening to you.
Thank you, Reverend. Of course, today we are talking about flooding. What is your take, Reverend Sibanda, on what is happening? People are saying the government is not doing enough.
Well, yes, I think, first of all, of course, we have realized that this has become a perennial problem, which means that there should be some measures in terms of disaster management and mitigation that should be put in place that would permanently maybe solve or mitigate against this problem. What we have realized, we had a team of pastors that actually went to Cholocho just last week, and we realized that the areas in Cholocho that have been affected by flooding, especially where the same people are, it's because those areas are low-lying, and also it's because of the type of houses that they've built in those areas. So it would simply really take maybe rethinking in terms of planning to say, should they remain in that area? And if they are remaining in that area, government would need to redesign the houses that these people are building. The type of bricks that they are using, it's really mud, and it's easy for it to be washed away. But while the houses or the huts could actually be built on higher ground and be able to prevent disaster when flooding occurs.
Very good point there.
Yeah. So little fika khona ngale elihambe khona Cholocho lifike labonani mfundisi.
Ake sinanzelele ukuthi izinto eziningi zakhiwe ngodaka azidaka olungathiswanga. So aziqinanga kakhulu, and izakhamizi zangale bezikhuluma ngokuthi zona azikwanisi ukwakha zidinga ukuncediswa ukuthi nxa kungaba lendlela ukuthi zingafundiswa ukuchitha izitina, zingafundisa njalo lokwakha izakhiwo eziqinileyo. Sinanzelela ukuthi lokhu kungenziwa kungayenza ukuthi kungabe lokudilika njalo kulezinye indawo esibona ukuthi akumelanga vele bayakhe kizo. Kumele ukuthi engxenye bachedeze izakhiwo zabo ziyendaweni ezingane ziphakamile mbijana. Lokhu izinto abangancedisa ukuthi bezenze. Akuthathi izinto eziningi ukuthi umuntu afundise ukuchitha izitina lokuthi ayakhe kuhle. Nxa kungalethwa abantu abalobuciki ekwakheni abafundiswayo ezikolo ukwakha singathi labana amabhida labe town planning, ngoba ezinye indawo ziyabe zifuna ukuthi kuhlonywe izigodo phansi ukwenzela ukuthi izinto zingagugulwa ngamanzi nxa ebuya. Zonke izinto lezi mbona ngani izinto ezingalungiswa nxa uhulumende engakhangela izigaba ezinjengabo Cholocho.
Hayi siyakuzwa kakhulu ke Reverend Hussein Sibanda ubambe khona ucingo ungayikatshana mnomzana. So what what the Reverend was saying is that they visited Cholocho, the flood victims, and what they got what they found out there was many people are actually building mud huts, and those mud huts are not too strong. So they are saying villagers that talked to them indicated that they need some help in constructing at least some strong kind of buildings. So he says that can be done, but then the other advice that they may have given to those villagers was don't construct houses in low-lying areas, because you are actually exposing yourself to floods.
That's true. Tine mumwe mugari wemuHarare kurugare uko Mai Chirara, makadii Mai Chirara?
Tiripo avo makadii henyu?
Aiwa, tiripo. Mungatiudza kuti dambudziko remafashamu emvura rakamira sei kurugare uko?
Dambudziko ratinaro muno murugare ngerekuti madrenji edu emvura haazi kufambisa mvura. Saka mvura yese yakanaya kupinda mudzimba. Zvokuti izvozvi dzimwe dzimba mapropati akatodhemenjeka, vanhu vakatochiisa kuti unotsvaga dzimba dzokurodha kusatatoka.
Chii chiri kukonzera kuti iwo madhiraini aya asashande, kuti haana kucherwa here kana kuti akabhuloka? Zviri kufamba sei?
Akabhuloka, plus futi amwe akapera kudhumwa nemamotikari achiwira pasi, saka mvura kuti ifambe haizi kufamba iri kubva yapinda pai ikupinda mudzimba.
Saka vasingakwanise vaye kuti vaende kuSouthampton kunoroja vari kuita sei? Zviri kufamba sei?
Vamwe vakatovhura mugero mudzimba kuti kuvhura kuti mvura irasikiro mumagadheni kachingobuda uchingoenda.
Ko vana vari kukwanisa kuenda kuzvikoro here?
Vana vari kuenda.
Ko pane vambouyawo here vakuru vehurumende kana kuti ivo vekanzuru kuti vange vachitaura nemamiriro akaita zvinhu?
Hakuna, kana even masiweji havasi kutombouya.
Saka zvinhu hazvina kumira zvakanaka?
Hazvina kungomira zvakanaka. Semasiweji ari kutoyerera pane chidheo muna makonza BM28 sepane nhamo tsvina yakaigwa nezviri, but tsvina yacho ngooneka ichingoyerera nepamberi, vanhu vachitobika chikafu, vanhu vachidya.
Saka zvii zvamungade kuudzawo nhengo dzeparamende nevamwe vakuru vehurumende semugari weHarare nekanzuru yenyu?
Tiri kuda kuudza vakanzuru yetu, kansela wedu, kuti ngaatimiririrewo ativhuririrewo madrenji aya, mvura kuti ifambe. Mvura iri kungopinda mudzimba, ari kutozviziva kuti mvura iri kupinda mudzimba, asi haazi kutora action. Atinge anenge ane 4 years avhura madrenji iwaya, mvura pa4 years haanazovhura futi madrenji iwaya.
Aiwa, tinotenda zvikuru Mai Chirara. Mai Chirara, regai tabata deputy mayor vemuHarare, councillor Thomas Muzuva. Vamuzuva muripo here parunare?
Tiripo, makadii.
Tiripo. Mai Chirara vari kurugare vari kuti ivo madhiraini aya haasi kushanda zvakanaka, mvura yesiweji yaakupinda mudzimba, uye havasi kuona vanhu vekanzuro vachiya zogadzira. Mukavatsananguriro kuti zviri kufamba sei?
Chinhu chekutanga ndechekuti manaira aita mvura rwendo rwunorwo yakapedzisira kuzviita maybe 20 to 25 years ago. So vanhu vaikwakota nawe zvekuti madhiraini neikonomi yedu panga pasina bhajeti ranga richinyaya kuiswa kumadhiraini. So ndo zvakonzeresa zvinhu zvakadaiwo. But however, we have now learned to put a budget disaster preparedness awareness. So I think next time painonaya mvura tinenge tagadzirira manje.
Maakutaura zvegore rinouya here apa Vamuzuva kana kuti?
Zvatoo zvegore rinouya, because apa mvura kana ikaramba ichidai taakutofanirwa kugara pasi toita supplementary budget. But however, mukatarisa maitiro ari kuita government necouncil zvaakutobatana over this issue yenhingirikiri yemvura iyoyi.
Okay, rambai muri parunare Vamuzuva, of course, for the benefit of our Ndebele listeners and others. We have a Harare resident, Mrs. Chirara, who is saying the drainage system is simply not working in Rugare. As a result, their houses have been flooded, sewages are flowing everywhere. And we also have the deputy Harare mayor, Councillor Thomas Muzuva, who is saying that the problem is there was no money set aside in the budget to deal with such kinds of disasters. But from next year, they will be considering that. Gibbs, if you
siyabazola pake kulo mama ke unkosikazi Chirara ose Harare uthi khona ke okuhluphayo ukuthi nxa kukhangelwa ama drainage lana avalekile amanengi njalo amanzi kahambi kahle yikho kwenza ukuthi ugcine sokugcela amanzi khona phezulu estaladini then ke siphinde sibe umeya udeputy mayor umuzuba lapha siyamuzwa uyakhuluma la ukuthi kodwa kuhluphayo ukuthi abala mali engani balayo ukuthi basebenzise ukuthi bekulungise khonokho so ke kuthiwa yi-supplementary budget yabifunakala kodwa singazi ukuthi uzayithola kumbe kasuzayithola yini imali sekwazi imali yahlupha mfowethu
rikatithi mai muzuva mune mubvunzero wekupedzisira kuna deputy mayor
hallo
mune mubvunzo wekupedzisira here kuna deputy mayor vamuzuva
tinawo mubvunzo wekuti vari kutaura kuti bhajeti yenext year saka masiweji omuramba achingoyerera vana vachingofema mweya wemasiweji yimira next year here ngavava vatigadzire masiweji vai
vamuzuva
chamunofanirwa kuziva ndechekuti rugare yakanga iri compound yenational railways of Zimbabwe yakaitwa surrendered into the city of Harare muna 2008 for management, for proper management. So zvinhu zvizhinji zviri murugare zvinoda kutogadziriswa zvavari kutaura nezvechokwadi zvekuti masuweji anouya obayiwa overera handitika but handiyo solution kutonyatsogadzira rugare chaizvo chaizvo kuti ifanane nemamwe malocations so inotoda big budget kunobvisa masuweji pamba pavo panogona kuendwa but ndezvenguva diki
aiwa tinotenda vavo muzuva ramba yenyuri parunhare mai chirara tinotenda nekupinda muchirongwa chedu tinotenda
yes changa mafishani sibili nkosikazi pepa nkomo konapo pho kwenziweni lapha ukuhamba phambili sikwenziweni mafishani sibili
mamafishana okukala ngiyadana ukuthi inhlaselo njenge lo deputy mayor nxa ezakhuluma phambi komphakathi na bebengela budget ye-disaster preparedness kuyandanisa kakhulu okutshengisela ukuthi indawo eziningi bakuthatha kancane into ukuthi idorobha elikhulu elingaka izulu uyalibona liyana iminyaka leminyaka kodwa ukuthi obekungayenza ukuthi lingani eHarare liyenze khonokho okutshengisela ukuthi yikho esimele sidile ngakho ku-local government ukuthi hayi ngabasebenzi abantu abafundileyo bafundile balabantu abafundile ama-engineer ndokunye okuthize labo town clerk ngodokotela kumele bakwazi ukuthi kuyenzakalani ibudget i-supplementary budget angakhuluma ngayo whereas it's supposed to be in the actual budget kodwa-ke ngifuna ukuvumelana lo mfundisi uHussein ukuthi khona hayi imizi kumele kwakhiwe imizi eqinileyo kwathi kodwa-ke yikho esikukhulumayo ukuthi ngabe le-CPU siyakhulumisana sihlale bona labo umfundisi uHussein labo ngapart of ama-stakeholders ngabanye abathi nxa sesile uhlupho basincede ama-church amaningi asincede kulakho ukuthi bonke abantu laba babuthelelwe mina kakhulu ama-church ngithanda ukuwabonga kakhulu amaningi engeke ngawacamba kathesi ngoba made yiwanceda icholotsho
manje isikhathi duma isikhathi du
baba
isikhathi du othi ke umfundisi avale ya isikhathi du sibe
mfundisi ngithanda ukubonga kakhulu khonokho ke nxa ube kukhona besizaba lamacebo sikhulumisana ukuthi kakwenze lokhu aconstruct izindlu ezinje kakwenze lokhu lalokhu but yonke nale emele sibone ukuthi siyayivula kahle sisebenzelane into enje ifuna ukuthi abantu babambe ndawonye basebenze ndawonye lo mlimo usinika izulu kasinika izulu ukuthi into kumele sithokoze ngalizulu yebo lisuke labuya njengecholotsho akulamifula akulani so amanzi lawana ageleza agijima yonke indawo iwilusupho lecholotsho kakhulu
hayi sibongela kakhulu ke nkosikazi Phepha manje baba khonapho reverend mfundisi wethu ngani isikhathi sesiphelile sibongela kakhulu Yeah,
of course, we want to thank our guests this evening, Reverend Hussein Sibanda, Honorable Roslyn Sipepa Nkomo, Honorable Jesse Majome, and also Harare Deputy Mayor, Councillor Thomas Muzua. And of course, we want to thank our callers, our listeners, our viewers, our team behind the scenes, our engineers and producers. Signing off, this is yours truly, Blessing Zulu.
And I'm Gibbs to be saying, let's meet tomorrow. Good night.